My name is Maryl Wallace. I have been with Lindquist since 2015 as a full-time funeral director. I was with them a year before, both as a part-time employee and also as doing my clinicals through school. I went to Salt Lake Community College. I graduated in mortuary science. That was my major. It is an actual major. My official job title is I am a licensed funeral director. I'm an embalmer. I am a certified crematory operator. And I also am a licensed prearranged funeral plan specialist or a prearranged insurance agent. I am also one of Lindquist's first female funeral directors that have really stuck it through. And that's mostly because this is not an easy profession. I used to help the school, Salt Lake Community College, to their mortuary science program. I used to go and speak to classes for a couple of different reasons that their professors would want me to be there, but specifically with women. With the class in general, the industry is booming with a lot of women enrollees, and it is not, you're not working with the dead. If you're going into this program with the intention of working with dead people because you hate people or you don't like people or you don't like to talk to people, this is not the industry for you. So in my previous life, I was a bartender, I was a server. I did that for about 20 years. I've been with Lindquist since 2015, officially full-time. I apprenticed under Bobby Lindquist, who's our general manager, and I am honored to be able to represent the Lindquist family, not just our organization, but the Lindquist family in every capacity that I can, whether that be through any kind of community outreach programs, volunteering, or just in my work in general, the quality of work that I do, the passion of the work that I do. This is a legacy, and I am honored to be able to represent them in that capacity. I grew up in East Layton. My great-grandpa, Oscar Green, he is the founder of Layton. He and his 3 brothers, they moved across what is now Layton City proper. And he and his family developed specifically East Layton. And if you're familiar with the area, it's the corner of Emerald and Cherry. That is where I grew up. So I am of pioneer blood. I am Buton for sure. My parents' house was here, and then I had my grandma's house, my cousin's house, my aunt's house, uncle, cousin, and then our Centurion farm that is still there. I grew up in a very, we weren't super close-knit family, but we were absolutely family. Everyone was up in someone's business. We're very hardworking people, and if some people can say that once they hear my maiden name of Green, they know exactly who I am and where I come from. And once they start to hear me speak or work or do, then they're like, oh yes, makes sense, you're a Green. So I grew up in East Layton. I went to Layton High. Wasn't involved in any sports. I was definitely a nerdy, nerdy kid. I was on yearbook staff. I was on newspaper staff. I was in AP art, AP history, all those things. So I graduated early from high school and ready to hit the ground run. I was very eager to grow up. I remember. I postponed going to college immediately because I was and am very counterculture, I guess. I I didn't want to go to college for the sake of going to college, because I didn't want to necessarily find a husband, which is what a lot of young women were doing. And I also didn't have the money, because unlike other kids, my parents couldn't afford for me to college. That's where I come from, is East Layton. I currently live in Clearfield with my husband. We have a quaint, cute little house with a fenced-in yard, and we live right off of the East Gate. So that's where I haunt nowadays. I am married. My husband and I have been married since 10, 11, 12. We were together about 8 years before that. We lived together. We lived in sin. We heard all about that before we got married. We have no children, and that is by choice. That is not because we can't. It is just because we do not want that. That is not our thing, and that's fine. One thing I remember very distinctly, when I was in my mid to late 20s, I read a book called Stiff: The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. Excellent read. Very interesting if you are into learning. But she talks about different kinds of afterlife experiences that a human body can go through. And I don't mean like afterlife as in spiritual, but like literally after living, this is what your body can do and become. And there's a chapter in there where she had interviewed a funeral director, and the way he spoke about his profession with such grace and eloquence and sincerity felt true to me. And I hate the verbiage or the saying of it was a calling, because to me this is more than that. I feel like this is a ministry. This is something that very much completes my identity. And so that's what kind of inspired me to go to school, was that wanting more, that yearning to be more and to cement my identity, and then to grow into something more, is what really kind of led to that epiphany, is that this is something that made sense. Mortuary science is technically it's a 2-year program, and it consists of multiple areas of learning, from basic accounting to human anatomy, thanatochemistry, restorative art, psychology, grief counseling, all different areas that give you just a little bit of everything, because in this industry it's not very specific to just one skill set. It is very much a mesh of things, and I wear a lot of hats, so a little bit of everything. Throughout experience in my career, I've definitely my confidence has grown to fill in those, and to be a little bit more knowledgeable, or at least knowledgeable enough to be dangerous in many areas. So there's lots of stuff, lots of things. It's beyond just embalming, which is a lot of people, they like to go in and like, yeah, I get to embalm people. That is a very, embalming itself, sure, like it's cool, I guess, but I can tell you it's very weird. Nothing that I do is normal in that situation. It is a very, I guess, it can be very intimate. It can be, I am very much a witness to someone being very vulnerable. I can also be a witness to some very traumatic, violent events. This isn't just grandma that I'm taking care of. I'm taking care of children. I'm taking care of parents. one thing that really kind of grew in my appreciation in my career was very early in my career, my dad died. And it was very sudden. He was given a terminal illness, and I received that diagnosis while I was here, actually. And it gives you an appreciation of what we do when you're on that other side of the table. Thank you. So, my dad was very proud of me and the work that I do and the company that I work for. He was very proud of that. He was very proud that I started with Lindquist. I was hired on by the Lindquists. I was trained by them. And I was able to do what I could. I did not embalm my dad. There are some of my coworkers who have embalmed their parents. But in that time, I chose to be a grieving child. And I was able to rely on my colleagues to guide me and to help me. To literally pick me up when I collapsed. So it can be a very rewarding career, but there are also, I know that there are colleagues that I've had that can't make that point. They can't go above that it's their breaking point. Not that it didn't break me, because it absolutely did. And it took years of learning the weight of it and being able to truly empathize with people is learned. So that was definitely a turning point in my career. My first word is I like to achieve. Because, and this is, I even wrote down like what this means to me. Okay, so I like to achieve because I'm very driven to make an effort to accomplish and to do and to be more. It can drive people nuts because I hold myself to a very high standard, and then I unfairly expect other people to know that those are standards. And then when they don't accomplish that, whether it's more often like private, sometimes professionally, but if they don't go up to my standards, I am sickly disappointed. Like, I lose sleep about this. My other word is learning. I love the process of becoming competent and to practice, then growing confidence, these new tasks and challenges every day. Like, I will wake up and want to learn. I want to learn to do, to be, know where to go. I'm very anxious to learn. I love learning. And here's the kicker. Here's my kicker word. I am to a fault responsible, which is wild. Even though it makes sense. This is because I have a deep psychological ownership in literally everything I do. Like, I take everything to heart, and because of this, I am grossly dependable to a fault. Like, sometimes I allow myself to be taken advantage of. I see it, I know it, I hear it, I know it, I acknowledge it, and I let it happen. And I'm also very honest to a fault, to a point where I think too fast in my honesty, and then I realize what I said and how I said it, and I'm like, wow, that was a little bit too honest. So those are my 3 words. My 3 words that describe me are, I like to achieve, learn, and then I am very responsible. So there's that. A lot of research went into those words.